Most men underestimate their own attractiveness. They think that unless women make it obvious, there's no attraction. But the truth is, attraction is rarely loud. It's subtle, quiet, and easy to miss if you don't know what to look for. Women don't always express interest directly. Sometimes they hide it, and sometimes they show it in ways that most men misinterpret completely. So if you've ever wondered whether you are more attractive than you realize, this is something you need to understand. In this video, we're going to break down 7 clear signs that you are a very attractive man, based on real behavior, psychology, and how people naturally respond to you without even realizing it. Pay close attention, because some of these signs are easy to overlook, yet they reveal more than direct words ever could. Let's start with the first sign. Sign number 1. Women act differently around you. One of the clearest signs that you are an attractive man is that women behave differently when they are around you, even if they don't openly show interest. Most men expect attraction to look confident, obvious, or direct, but in reality, it often shows up as a change in behavior. A woman who is normally relaxed may suddenly become more aware of herself. She might adjust her hair more often, change her tone slightly, or become either more talkative or unexpectedly quiet. This happens because attraction creates self-awareness. When someone is around a person they find attractive, they subconsciously begin to monitor how they look, how they speak, and how they come across. That internal shift naturally changes how they behave. For example, a woman who is confident with others may hesitate slightly around you, not because she lacks interest, but because your presence matters more to her than she wants to admit. The mistake most men make is assuming that if a woman seems nervous or slightly different, it means she is not interested. In reality, it can mean the opposite. The key insight here is that attraction does not always make people move toward you. Sometimes it makes them more aware of themselves around you. Sign number 2. Strangers stare at you without realizing it. Another strong sign that you are more attractive than you think is the way strangers look at you. This is something that often goes unnoticed because it happens subtly and without intention. You may catch people glancing at you briefly, looking away, and then looking again. It is not always obvious, but it is consistent. From a psychological perspective, people are naturally drawn to what stands out to them, whether it is appearance, presence, or energy. When someone finds you visually or energetically appealing, their attention shifts toward you automatically. They may not even realize they are doing it, but their eyes return to you more than once. In everyday situations, this might look like someone across the room looking in your direction multiple times, or someone making brief eye contact and quickly looking away. These small moments are easy to dismiss, but when they happen repeatedly, they reveal something deeper. The mistake most men make is ignoring these signals or assuming they mean nothing. They believe attraction must be obvious to be real. The key insight is that attention is one of the first signs of attraction, even when it is completely unconscious. Sign number 3. Other men pay attention to you. Attraction is not only noticed by women. Other men also pick up on it, often in subtle but meaningful ways. When you are an attractive man, other men become more aware of your presence. Some may observe you more closely, others may compare themselves to you, and some may even act slightly differently around you. This happens because attractiveness is linked to social perception. People naturally recognize individuals who stand out, whether through confidence, appearance, or presence. Other men may not openly acknowledge it, but they register it subconsciously. For example, you might notice that some men become quieter around you, while others try to assert themselves more. In group settings, attention may shift toward you without you actively trying to take it. These reactions are not random. They are responses to perceived value. The mistake most men make is overlooking this completely or misinterpreting it as something negative. The key insight is that attention from other men is often a reflection of how you are perceived socially, and that perception is closely tied to attractiveness. Sign number 4. You get special treatment without asking. Another clear sign that you are a very attractive man is that you receive special treatment without actively seeking it. This doesn't always appear in obvious ways, but it shows up in small, consistent moments that are easy to overlook if you're not paying attention. People may be slightly more accommodating toward you. Conversations may feel easier to start. You might notice that others are more willing to help you, listen to you, or give you attention without you having to earn it first. Even in everyday situations, there can be a subtle difference in how people respond to you compared to others. From a psychological standpoint, this is connected to what is often referred to as the halo effect. When someone is perceived as attractive, people tend to associate other positive qualities with them automatically. Without realizing it, they assume you are more confident, more capable, or more interesting, and that assumption influences how they treat you. In real life, this might look like someone being unusually friendly, giving you the benefit of the doubt, or engaging with you more openly than expected. These moments may seem small on their own, but when they happen repeatedly, they reveal a pattern. The mistake most men make is thinking they are just getting lucky, or that it means nothing. The key insight here is that when people treat you differently, without a clear reason, it often reflects how they perceive your value, not just your actions. Sign number 5. You get respect before you even earn it. Respect is usually something that is built over time, but when you are perceived as attractive, you may notice that people give you a certain level of respect immediately, even before they truly know you. This doesn't necessarily come from what you say or what you have done, but from how you carry yourself and how others interpret your presence. People may listen to you more carefully, take your opinions more seriously, or respond to you with a level of consideration that feels unearned. Psychologically, this is tied to perception and social bias. When someone appears confident, composed, or attractive, others often assume competence and authority without needing proof. It is not always logical, but it is a natural human tendency. For example, in group settings, people may give you space to speak, acknowledge your input more quickly, or treat you as someone whose presence matters. Even in brief interactions, there can be an underlying tone of respect that is not given to everyone equally. The mistake most men make is believing they must always prove themselves first before recognizing that this respect is already being offered. The key insight is that perception often comes before reality, and how people initially perceive you can shape how they treat you from the very beginning. Sign number 6. You trigger both attraction and intimidation. One of the more complex signs of being an attractive man is that you don't only attract people, you can also intimidate them at the same time. This is something many men misunderstand because they assume that attraction should always feel positive and welcoming. In reality, attraction can create pressure. When someone perceives you as attractive or high value, they may feel unsure of themselves around you. This can lead to mixed reactions. Some people become more engaged, while others become distant or reserved. From a psychological perspective, this is linked to self-comparison. When someone feels that you stand out, they may begin to compare themselves to you, and that comparison can create either admiration or insecurity. As a result, they may pull back, avoid eye contact, or behave differently than they normally would. In everyday situations, this might look like someone being interested in you but not approaching you, or someone acting slightly cold, even though there is underlying attention. These mixed signals can be confusing if you don't understand what is happening. The mistake most men make is assuming that intimidation means rejection. The key insight here is that attraction and intimidation often exist together, and sometimes the very thing that draws people to you is also what makes them hesitate. Sign number 7. People assume you have options. Even if you don't. The final sign, and one of the strongest indicators that you are a very attractive man, is that people assume you have options, even if that is not actually the case. This is something that happens without you saying anything or trying to create that image. High-value men are often perceived as being in demand, and people project that idea onto you automatically. Women may make comments suggesting that you are talking to multiple people, or that you must have a lot of attention from others. Friends may assume that you are always dating, or that you have more opportunities than you actually do. This is known as preselection, a psychological phenomenon where people find someone more attractive simply because they believe others are already interested in them. The perception of demand increases your perceived value, even if there is no direct evidence. In real life situations, this might look like a woman becoming slightly jealous when you speak to someone else, or making comments like, "I'm sure you have a lot of people texting you." These reactions are not random. They come from an assumption that you are already desired. The mistake most men make is trying to prove that these assumptions are not true, thinking they need to correct the perception. The key insight is that the less you seek validation, the more people assume you already have it, and that assumption can significantly increase how attractive you appear. Conclusion: attraction is not always obvious, and it rarely shows up in the way most men expect. It exists in subtle behaviors, quiet reactions, and small patterns that reveal how people truly perceive you without them ever having to say it directly. When you begin to notice these signs consistently, not just once but repeatedly, it changes the way you understand social interactions. So as you stop relying on obvious confirmation and start recognizing the deeper signals that have always been there. The truth is, being attractive is not just about appearance. It is about presence, perception, and how others respond to you when you are simply being yourself. If you found this helpful, take a moment to reflect on which of these signs you have experienced most often. And if you want to continue understanding attraction, psychology, and human behavior on a deeper level, make sure you stay connected for more.